Patrice Lumumba's place in African history is in several ways unique. Few leaders rose to international prominence so rapidly and yet so dramatically. To some, he was the image of the nationalist hero, and to others, he was a cruel, unprincipled opportunist. The crisis through which the Congo passed when he was its prime minister not only changed the course of its history, but also that of all Africa. Patrice Emery Lumumba was born on July 2, 1925, in the village of Onalua in the province of Kasai. A formal postal worker in the Belgian Congo, he became political after joining a local branch of the Belgian Liberal Party. Fearing his well-founded criticism of colonial racism, the colonial authorities welcomed his return from a study tour to Belgium arranged by the party, with a charge of embezzling funds from the post office. He served 4 months in jail. And after leaving prison, Lumumba settled down in Leopoldville, where from 1957 on, he launched himself into the political struggle.
Nous ne sommes contre personne, mais uniquement contre ce régime colonial, ce régime d'oppression et d'injustice, d'exploitation mercantile qui fait la honte de ce 20e siècle de progrès.
Joining up with Ileo and Galula, he succeeded in October 1958 in taking the leadership of the Mouvement National Congolais, or the MNC, the first Congolese political group which called for total and immediate independence and demanded that Congo's vast mineral wealth benefit Congolese first.
Il nous faut des actes concrets. Le peuple congolais désire une date précise pour l'indépendance du Congo.
For Belgian public opinion, which played up Congolese ethnic differences and still had a 30-year plan for the Congolese independence, Lumumba and the MNC's declarations came as a shock. The Belgians reluctantly conceded political independence to the Congolese. And 2 years later, following a decisive win for the MNC in the first democratic elections, Lumumba found himself elected to prime minister with the right to form a government. A more moderate leader, Joseph Kasavubu, occupied the ceremonial position of Congolese president. On June 30th, 1960, Independence Day, Lumumba gave what is now considered a timeless speech. The Belgian King Baudouin opened proceeding by praising the murderous regime of his great-uncle, Leopold II, highlighting the supposed benefit of colonialism, and warned the Congolese, don't compromise the future with hasty reforms. Kasavubu predictably thanked the king. Lumumba, compelled to respond to the king's remarks, he rose and gave a speech which praised the independence struggle and condemned the Belgian Congo's regime of injustice, oppression, and exploitation.
Ce qui fit notre sort à 80 ans du régime colonialiste. Nos blessures sont trop fraîches et trop douloureuses encore pour que nous puissions les chasser de notre mémoire.
The Congolese congressmen and those listening by radio broke out in applause. But the speech did not sit well with the former colonizers, the CIA, Western journalists, and multinational mining interests. And on June 11, 1960, Moise Tshombe, the leader of Konakat, declared the Congo Southern Province of Katanga an independent state, with Elizabeth Ville as its capital and himself as the president. Belgium government provided military support to Katanga and ordered its civil servants in the region to remain in their posts. After asking help to the US and the UN, Lumumba realized that they would not help him. In an attempt to put pressure on the American government, he called on the Soviet leader, Nikita Khrushchev, for assistance. For the Belgians, Lumumba's stance was another way to justify their prior concerns about his radicalism. They quickly found a willing accomplice in Lumumba's entourage, former journalist and now head of the army, Joseph Mobutu. Together, They worked to incite the rebellion in the army, stir up unrest, exploit attacks on whites, create an economic crisis, and eventually kidnap and execute Lumumba.
Parce que le pouvoir n'existait pas, le pouvoir était inexistant. Alors, l'armée a cru de son devoir de faire quand même quelque chose pour le prestige de ce pays. C'est ce que nous avons fait.
The CIA had tried to poison him, but eventually settled on local politicians and dozen killers to do the job. He was captured by Mobutu's mutinous army and flown to the secessionist province of Katanga, where he was tortured, shot, and killed. In February 2002, Belgium's government expressed its profound and sincere regrets and its apologies for Lumumba's murder. A government commission also heard testimonies that the assassination could not have been carried out without the complicity of Belgian officers backed by the CIA, and it concluded that Belgium had a moral responsibility for the killing.
Les insultes, les coups que nous devions subir matin, midi et soir, parce que nous étions des nègres. Qui oubliera qu'à un noir, on disait tu